I'm David with EV World News. We're talking about electric vehicles, green energy, and the stock markets. And I'm back today on a Tuesday with our founder and chief editor, Bill Moore. How's it going, Bill?
It is going fine. Thank you very much.
Well, we got a fine stream of articles. We got a short Thanksgiving week this week. We'll see how that plays out.
I'm assuming we won't be here on Friday. Do we get the Friday? Do I get the Friday off?
Well, we can skip it, I suppose.
No, yeah. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I don't mind doing it. It's probably be kind of a slow day for other stuff. Anyway,
yeah,
so might as well do the Friday show.
Okay.
People at home to watch, right?
Exactly. So, while they're, taking off, they, they get the opportunity to take an extra day. Good. The long weekend. Perfect. Come over to EV World and listen to us yabber on about all kinds of fun things in the world of electric vehicles.
You just never know what'll come up. Well, let's start out. My first article today is once again, global grid scale battery storage has surged 38% year over year. Global battery storage is up to 156 gigawatt hours.
Good.
That's a lot of damn batteries. China led with a 27% increase.
Of course they did.
While the rest of the world showed a 242% increase. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe that one's a hallucination.
Yeah, probably. We've had some issues with that this morning, both of us, folks.
Yeah, AI is lying to us on some of the topics, some of the things we're trying to do. It was trying to give me news articles from last year and some of that, because it started out with the Biden administration is doing this. And it's like, hey, that shouldn't be the case right now.
Where you been, Rip Van Winkle?
All right. Yeah. It's like that. I can't think of the damn movie. Never mind. October alone added 12.7 gigawatt hours new capacity, including China's first giga-scale vanadium flow battery. I don't even know what vanadium flow is.
Oh, you want me to sort of simply explain from what I know? Okay, a vanadium flow in a normal battery. What do you have? A cathode and an anode, and the electrons, move back and forth across depending on state of charge. Well, in effect, a vanadium battery does something similar, except instead of having solid pieces of, graphite, aluminum or copper or whatever to move back and forth into, they use electrolytic fluids. So they just simply move, the electrons move from one fluid to the other fluid. And what that means is you can have gigantic, big ass batteries as big as buildings, right? Because you're just talking about a fluid moving from one to the other. And that's essentially my understanding. And of course, any watchers and people out there who know better, feel free to comment below, because I'm just I'm a layman when these things are talking about. But it's a promising battery tech.
Yeah, well, gigawatt scale is that's a pretty big adoption.
Yep.
Anyways, over 153 gigawatt hours still slated for commissioning in 2025. So in the next 5 weeks, though delays and cancellations are expected. 153 gigawatts would represent almost doubling what the world has now, which makes me wonder if somehow it gave me an article that was, it says November 24th of 25.
Okay, recent.
Yeah.
Today's the 25th.
It is, yesterday. That seemed like an awful lot of a increase. Okay, so it says the rest of the world experienced a staggering 242% jump in deployments, highlighting a rapid acceleration. Oh, okay. So rest of the world, so 27% was China saw a 27% increase. Europe and North America, 21%.
Okay.
The rest of the world,
right,
242% jump.
Right. So that's like going from one big battery box and adding a second battery box, right? That's a 100%.
Yeah. So, that we're talking Australia, Africa, South America,
Yeah.
Places like that, because it already included Europe and North America and China and that. So those are obviously the big markets, but still. The U.S. had 2.3 gigawatts get installed in September of battery storage. Oh, no, in October. My bad.
Okay.
That was less than September, but still. Yeah, so that was something. Let's see here. Oh, we've talked about China's BYD dominating the global EV market. Let's see. BYD was 19% of all global plug-in vehicle sales in the first 9 months of the year. Oh, we have a hello from Asgard. So somebody is on another dimension.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. New EVs starting from BYD starting in under $24,000 in Australia. So that's getting cheap over there.
Yep.
Let's see. BYD is a major competitive threat to Western automakers, especially Tesla. Well, it's funny because BYD says their target is overtaking Toyota, which isn't necessarily a Western automaker, right? But, I guess it depends on how you look at Toyota, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they are the big 800-pound gorilla in car sales worldwide. Let's see. So here was kind of a surprising one. Lucid has been named the best luxury EV brand for 2025, ahead of Tesla, BMW, and Rivian.
Doesn't surprise me.
This is from U.S. News and World Report. And
fairly reputable source.
They awarded the new Lucid Gravity SUV a perfect 10 out of 10 score.
Wow. Good for them.
Yeah, good for Lucid. And this
have you found one yet to buy?
No. But you never know.
Yeah.
I've heard weird things about Tesla. I mean, not Tesla, Lucid failures, and that seems I don't know. They don't have the production experience of like Tesla, obviously, that's cranked out millions of cars.
Right.
So it's still a little, wondering. Lucid is still facing supply chain challenges, including chip shortages and a supplier fire impacting production. Quality leadership doesn't always translate to sales volume or profitability. So we're getting a hi from everybody today.
Yeah.
If you haven't said hi today, you might as
well
say hi.
Happy Thanksgiving for those of you that celebrate it.
Yes. All right. Another one here. So XAI has successfully gotten $15 billion raised at a $230 billion pre-money valuation. Now
this is Elon Musk's Grok successor, right?
Yes. Well, it is Grok essentially.
Right.
I know people who love Grok, that's their favorite
that's their go-to.
one.
Yeah.
But it's always kind of funny because it's like usually I would assume somebody either be a Chat GPT fan or a Claude fan.
Yeah.
You're usually a Claude fan if you're a programmer. So because it does the best for programming.
Or a mead maker, because that's my go-to program to help me when I'm doing my brewing of mead.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Yeah. Bill is making alcohol. Hopefully the ATF isn't watching this.
Oh, no. It's making, I got three little half-gallon containers of different flavors that I'm working with, right? So no, it's completely legal. Now, if I would try to sell you some, then I would be running afoul of but as long as it's, home brewing for my own consumption or sharing with friends who come over to visit. And I haven't gotten to that point yet because it's still pretty new. I mean, I've only been doing this since 1st of October. So it takes at least 6 months to, turn out a good mead.
Those of you watching from other dimensions or from other countries or whatever, the United States is 50 separate states, all of which have their own liquor laws.
Yep.
And so it's different in
Well, there's
every
an
state.
overarching federal, right,
Right.
that you have to comply with, and then there are individual state regulations, and Nebraska happens to be one of the ones that allows you to do home brewing, and again, as long as I don't try to sell it. So
Let's see. Musk claims Tesla will build more AI chips than everyone else combined, unveils a major hiring drive. AI autonomous driving bets driving Tesla's sky-high valuation despite declining EV sales. I think last look, I think they're about a 1.4 trillion market cap.
did he say that they would make more chips than
They're
anybody
going
else?
to, he says they're going to build more AI chips.
Oh, that's curious. I didn't know they had the ability to do chip fabrication,
Yeah.
unless they're taking microprocessor bits and things and then soldering them into a single board or whatever they need. I guess that's possible.
Yeah. I'm not seeing where that piece, because I'm reviewing the articles that were looked at where XAI would use a large portion of the money for funding graphics processing units responsible for powering large language models, but that would be NVIDIA.
That'd be NVIDIA, yeah.
Um,
Speaking of which, they are down 3%, well, almost 4% today.
are they?
Yep, they just scrolled by.
Okay. Well, you just never know from day to day, do you? Microsoft up, new scales
New
down
scales
to
down.
$18, down 5% today. Nano's probably down. Yep, Nano's down 2%.
Cameco is up.
So Cameco's a little different in that Cameco actually has reactors because they have grid scale reactors.
Okay, all right.
And we don't have all the companies we usually do.
Tesla's up
today.
0.5%.
We see, last week Tesla was at 398, so they're back to 420.
Yeah,
basically. You just never know from day to day where some of these are going to go. Ford is doing all right. Let's see where NVIDIA is. NVIDIA confuses me because they did a split a while back, and so their price is a lot different than when I used to follow them.
okay.
But look at AMD, a 6% drop. That's terrible.
They're a chip maker, right? AMD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're a chip maker. So the NVIDIA and AMD are the two big chip makers. All right, let's talk about the pivotal Aero, an all-electric flying car successfully completes first public test flight. I like the look of this because it really looks like they're trying to go for a World War II design.
Yeah, they put a stars and stripe on the side of the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I think I would have put the P-40 tiger shark
tiger jaw, tiger
on
mouth
the front
on it.
there. Yeah, why not?
Well, you know what? Somebody will do that. Trust me. Somebody will come up with that.
It's fully enclosed for driving in Nebraska.
Right.
Yeah. So it's classified as an ultralight, so you don't actually have to have a pilot's license.
Yeah, that's a little. I saw that. So I thought, well, that's a little strange. So
I wondered if a 14-year-old can fly this then.
Well, if they classify as a quadricycle in Europe, I suppose. I don't know. The rule. This is changing so rapidly, and that it's taking. The FAA is still trying to hammer out rules that govern these things, and apparently, at this point, they decide, well, it's not an airplane, it's not a helicopter. Let's make it an ultralight. So.
Yeah. Now this is a single passenger eVTOL. It's priced at $190,000, so it's targeting private owners rather than air taxi fleets. During the demo, it climbed to 150 feet and flew a low altitude circuit. It does not require a pilot's license. It has a range of less than 20 miles or approximately 20 miles.
Yeah.
And cruise speeds near 60 miles per hour.
Yeah, now, I was thinking about that. Well, how would that be practical? I suppose if I took my pear tree out, I could land in the backyard. How
Yeah.
far could I fly? You want to, obviously you want to have a radius. I think it's a radius of 10 miles, right? So you can go
Hmm.
somewhere and come back without having to land somewhere where there's power available. So where would I fly this thing? Well, I could go from here to, downtown Omaha, or from here, up to, maybe the West Elkhorn Metro campus or whatever. I don't know what other than this being it'd be a fun thing to have, right? I don't know how practical it is for one's personal transportation, but if you've got lots of
Will it fit
money,
in a parking spot? That that's what I'm
well, it
wondering.
probably two parking spots. It looks like it's wide enough.
Yeah. Yeah. And could you fly it somewhere and just sit it in a parking lot? I mean, if it's an eVTOL, and
Well,
I'm assuming that the wings must tip up for takeoff and landing.
that is my assumption. I haven't actually seen any video of it in operation, so I can't tell you.
Okay. Yeah, but that's pretty cool. I like the look of that though. I'm wondering how climbing in and out of the darn thing is.
I suppose it's a job. I think that the canopy, from a photograph that I saw, looks like the canopy actually kind of pivots around, although no, that wouldn't work because it'd get the guy's head. So it's got to either flip up or, flip back or something for it to, for the pilot to egress. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it has. I don't know if this is just something it sits on or if that actually rolls right there. 'Cause it looks like it should roll. But
I think I think this thing sits at a really kind of a weird angle.
mhm.
There's one of them that oh no, I think is a different model that sits at a really strange kind of angle like this, rather than maybe sitting like this one does, a little bit more level. So I don't know. I mean, it's fun to see what's happening in this arena.
It kind of looks like a crop duster.
Well, that or a X-wing or a Star Wars X-wing fighter with
Oh,
a R2D2 mounted behind you.
yeah, there you go. Well, yeah, a helicopter is basically a flying car, but there's some major differences though between eVTOLs and helicopters, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that one's electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was one of the hallucination problems I had this morning, because I asked it, well, summarize this article for me, and it summarized for a completely different company, and it talked about how this was a drivable. And I thought, drivable? There are no wheels on this thing. What do you mean drivable? So co-pilot was having a little bit of a hallucination problem in trying to interpret the story that we linked to from this. So
Yeah. I've thought about this if the flying cars were common. So what's going to happen is this is going to be really popular in China, not necessarily this model, but there's expected by 2030 to be 100,000
yeah, can you?
personal eVTOL users in China in the
Yeah,
next 5 years. Okay, so we're going to see what happens with the Chinese model before we really have to deal with it, because the United States is going to be easy 5 to 10 years behind China.
oh
We're
yeah,
behind. That's how far we are behind them in electric cars. I'd imagine in electric aircraft we're going to be the same way. It seemed, this is kind of funny. I tell people this all the time. The United States is a country run by lawyers. China is a country run by engineers. So if something is cool in engineering, they make it happen. And in the United States, we're too worried about
lawsuits.
lawsuits, who we're going to offend. Are all the eVTOLs going to ruin your view out your rear window of your house? I mean, it's all these different things
Well,
that,
yeah, how low can they fly, right?
right.
I mean, this
Yeah.
thing went to 150 feet. That
Hmm.
My quadcopter, I can't fly above 300 feet. I have to stay below that. So what if this guy is flying, at 100? They can't. He's going to have to stays above some altitude, but he can't get high enough to get into actual airspace because then he has to have FAA permission to fly in that air. So it'll be interesting to see how all this works out.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's really cool. You know what's going to become, but at $190,000, we're not going to see a lot of these.
No.
No,
Those are the
no.
guys that have more money than sense, I think. That'll.
Yeah. So, like where Bill and I live, we live in Papillion, Nebraska, which it isn't far from being rural. We're on the edge.
Don't give
Yeah.
away our secret.
Yeah. This is considered to be one of the top 5 small cities in America to live in. Okay. But it's right beside us. It's rural. Okay. So like,
there's a cornfield right over here I could point to if I turn the.
Yeah, I get coyotes in my backyard.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I live in a subdivision, but they wander into my subdivision all the time. Okay. So, yeah, I'm probably 3-4 blocks from cornfields.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas Bill can probably see them, but there's some other parts of, the rural towns that are like one step further out from us. The eVTOL would, probably be okay as long as you weren't taking it into, you couldn't take it into Douglas County. It'd be too crowded to take it into Douglas County, but I would think you could fly it around
maybe some
Sarpy
parks
County
or something over there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you don't see ultralights flying around.
No.
In Omaha, you generally see ultralights out in a cornfield somewhere.
Right. Yeah, well, that's where most of these guys can afford to hangar them generally.
Right.
Small rural community airports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of my friend's husbands, and he's a doctor, but he has a gas powered ultralight, and he crashed in a cornfield. She calls it the murder machine because she's convinced he's going to kill himself flying this thing.
Oh, please don't. Please
don't.
Yeah,
no, I know.
Yeah, I mean, we lost one of our club members, EAA chapter members, this year who crashed in his Champ, I think, a Ronca Champ. So,
okay, so there's a joint venture called Ionna, IONNA, that has planned investment exceeding $250 million to accelerate the expansion of its DC fast charging network across California. That was founded by 8 of the largest automakers: BMW, General Motors, Honda,
right. Yep.
Hyundai, Mercedes, Kia, Stellantis, and Toyota. It aims to redefine EV charging as an integrated customer experience through its nationwide network of rechargery stations. And that sounds like a George Bushism. Rechargery.
Rechargery.
Yeah, they're rechargery stations or EV charging stations that vary by site, but all offer high-speed DC fast charging with both CCS and NACS connectors. California investment represents a substantial commitment to the nation's largest EV market, where EVs accounted for 29.1% of new car sales in the third quarter of 2025. Man, they're not far, but I remember, doesn't California... Well, you always hear these things. If California was a country, it'd have the world's 5th largest economy.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I think they also would be in the top 10 for EV adoption.
Yeah,
close to it. I mean, it's tough because you got the 4 little Scandinavian countries that all have high adoption rates, and China. So maybe California would still be able to sneak in there in the top 10 because you got fairly high adoption rates through Europe as well, even though they're not as high as China, except for the Scandinavian countries, obviously.
Yes. Speaking of which, there's been this sort of couple of headlines that are, one in particular that talks about the collapsing EV sales market and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was interesting because do you know the best-selling, well, I can't say generally, but one of the best-selling electric vehicles in Europe is right now?
BYD?
Nope. Ford. The Ford Puma Gen E, it's called.
Okay, so the car.
A Ford electric vehicle called the Puma Gen E.
I've,
Yeah,
I knew
it's on the lead page, front page. So
Oh, and it's an SUV.
Yeah, yeah, I guess, well, I think it's more like a crossover type.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad looking. I mean, to me, it
no,
looks.
it's not. They gave it 225 is a facelift, so it's a new facelift. And it's got a pretty surprising range. I think the range they give range in city and range, and so the range on the highway is something like 400 and plus kilometers, and in the city it's like 500 kilometers, something like that. Yeah, it's a good looking car.
Can you drop a link for your site in the comments? I mean, it is just evworld.com.
Yeah, it's pretty easy,
It's,
just dvworld.com. It's right there in the headline below us, see,
yeah.
evworld.com.
Oh, yeah. It's right underneath our pictures. Yeah,
It's
but
it's
thanks,
been
Bobby.
that it's
Yeah.
been that since 1997. So,
Or you mean the specific link? Yeah. But
oh, there you go. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. The yeah, I hadn't seen the article about the Puma. That oh, there we go. Okay, there it is. I found it.
Okay. I noticed
Let's
that the
see.
front end looks a little bit that the grill. I can't call them grills anymore. The nose of the thing looks like borrowed from the Mustang Mach-E.
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit. I was even thinking it looked a little like a Nissan.
No,
Um, it's hard to pick that particular look, but yeah, go figure. So it's currently
so the question is, why is it there and why is it not here?
well, it's obviously too small. Um,
Well, but it looks like it's not much smaller than the Mustang Mach-E.
400-kilometer range,
Yep.
which that's about 280 miles, I think.
Yep. Something like that. Yeah. I mean,
270, maybe 270,
that,
280.
that's workable.
It's a crossover. Let's see. It has Blue Cruise.
Yeah, that's new this year. They're putting the Blue Cruise in the 2025 model. They gave it a facelift and they put in Blue Cruise for it. But they only make it in Europe. Ford, why?
Yeah, that's it's interesting, because I knew they had the Ford Explorer over there as an electric car, and you can't get that in the U.S.
Right.
But it's just like Buick. Buick has 4 or 6 EV models in China. It has 0 in the U.S.
Yep.
I'm sure that'll change at some point, but who knows? But let's see. So this Iona Group has contracted more than 1,000 charging bays for California. They plan on having 4,000 chargers nationwide, of which 25% of them will be in California. They currently operate more than 1,100 stalls that are either currently operating or under construction nationwide.
Yeah.
They want to have 30,000 fast charging stalls nationwide by 2030. Huh.
That's ambitious.
Yeah, that is. But it's those 8 car makers are all pooling together to make this work. So that's kind of a cool deal, as opposed to just Tesla paying for the one network all on their own.
And I just saw a headline that, we kept always wondering, how come we're not seeing that many stations being built under the NEVI, right? National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure funding. There were, and I forget the exact number, but there were some that were just commissioned, and I believe it's in Florida, that were built under the NEVI funding. So apparently that money is still out there and being used to construct these sites. I
Well,
hope they weren't.
Nebraska is one of the states that got the money to come back. And so Nebraska has it out for bid right now for those sites because Mike's keeping an eye on what's
Oh, is
going
he? Oh,
on with
great,
that.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike is our co-host. He's a professional engineer and a former engineer at our big power provider here in town, OPPD.
Oh yeah, very, very capable. Yeah, he's brilliant. Um, so Joby Aviation announced the first flight of its turbine electric autonomous VTOL aircraft. The demonstrator builds on its fully electric and it incorporates a hybrid turbine powertrain along with the company's Super Pilot autonomy stack to deliver greater range and payload capability. Potential applications include longer range air taxi service, as well as sales to civilian, commercial, and defense customers. Um, I don't know if it really describes. So they're using dual use technology.
Yeah,
Our
it's a
partners.
little. Yeah, I was going to
Go
say
ahead.
it's a little unclear as to are they have they got a conventional sort of gas turbine engine that instead of jet fuel they're feeding it with hydrogen, compressed hydrogen, or is it a fuel? Is it a fuel cell? There's an announcement today, as a matter of fact, of two French companies that are in fact working on that. So one of them is doing the fuel cell stack part, and the other is doing the propulsion system part of it. So I think people are trying to figure out how can we clean up our act, and is that by using hydrogen in a fuel cell, or is it using it to burn it, combusting it in a turbine? I think that's still to be determined.
So the hybrid aircraft builds on a proven all-electric technology platform that has completed more than 50,000 miles of flight testing and has entered the final stage of the FAA's type certification process for commercial
Yep.
aircraft. Joby's Super Pilot autonomous tech stack has been in development for more than 5 years. And in July, the company successfully participated in RE4PAC, a landmark Department of War exercise over the Pacific Ocean. Using a conventional Cessna 208, the company logged more than 7,000 miles of autonomous operations across more than 40 flight hours in and around Hawaii, managed from Andersen Air Force Base in Guam, more than 3,000 miles away. Now, so obviously that wasn't one
Now
of their own
think
aircraft.
about that. Here is Hawaii sitting in the middle of the Pacific, and here is Guam sitting on the other side of the Pacific, and there's probably what 3,000-4,000 miles separating them at
3,000.
least. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so they're controlling it from a base in Guam and operating and flying it and taking off and landing in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, obviously the end thing here is pilotless drones. So those,
Right.
instead of having to worry about providing things for the crew to help them control and the aircraft and so on, they just have little bits of electronics that do, and I imagine hydraulic servos or whatever, to fly this thing. So that can all be replaced with cargo of different kinds. So be it
Yep.
rescue, be it supplies for going into devastated hurricane areas, war zones, and not having to risk any pilots. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. So some of the benefits of the turbine electric propulsion is it delivers longer range as well as extended hold times required for critical multi-role missions, loyal wingman, and contested logistics.
Yep. That's
We're
the new
talking,
concept.
Department of War demands. I couldn't imagine though what they would use it to support for loyal wingman unless it was flying alongside like an Apache helicopter or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's the anytime you go on a combat mission in a combat zone, you're going to want to have somebody watching your six, right? Watching behind you and things. So that's typical. You got a lead pilot, and then he'll have a wingman that's flying, generally off the right wing. Just keeping an eye, making sure nobody sneaks up on the lead guy. Of course, the question is, who protects the wingman?
Right, right. No, I get that, but
So,
it's kind of cool that Joby's doing some of this as opposed to just the 5-man air taxi, right?
right, exactly.
So
Well, that's probably the government's always been a lucrative venture, generally speaking, not always, but generally a way to guarantee production and keep the dollars flowing. And
yeah, well, the Department of Defense definitely has its needs. That's for sure. Um, you know, do you see the image I'm sharing?
no, I do not at this point.
That's weird because it's showing up. Oh, here it comes. It just didn't want to
Okay,
populate. Yeah,
there you go.
it was like hanging out for about 15 seconds.
Yeah.
There we go. So
It
there's
was
what it looks
it
like.
was hover it was loitering. It was hovering.
It was loitering,
This is
loitering.
the unmanned cargo version, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's not a lot different than a helicopter, except that this one is a combination of probably jet fuel and
Yeah, it's kind of like the Marine Corps Osprey,
mhm,
right? Where you
yep,
got the two big turbines out on the end of the thing and they tilt and so on. This, of course, has what, 5 or 6 propellers.
this one
I
has
don't know
6
if
in the
all of
picture.
yeah, that looks like they all tilt. So
Yeah. So, anyways, that's another just cool thing we'll get to see from Joby. We like talking about electric aviation. We like to
oh,
talk about gas aviation. So,
absolutely.
um, I had somebody, I got approached about an aviation project, and I'm like, look, if they got the money to spend, we can combine it into a hangar token. we
Yeah,
can,
exactly. Yeah,
we'll,
exactly.
we'll move
Our
on
other
with
little
that,
crazy
you know.
idea
Yeah.
lurking in the
Yeah.
back of our brains.
Okay, so according to Cox Automotive, U.S. new vehicle sales are expected down 8% year over year. Now, higher
Now, is this
prices.
all models, all types
This
of?
is all U.S. new vehicle
Okay.
sales. Yeah, higher prices and slowing EV sales hitting the overall market in November 2025. Battery electric and hybrid vehicles still account for 50% of new registrations in 25 year to date. I guess hybrids are really, really selling. I didn't realize how much of US sales hybrids.
Yeah, there's an article I just saw, and I didn't get a chance to post it. I just kind of caught a glimpse of it that the new Toyota Prius hybrid is so much better than the electric, than having an electric car, which depends on too many other factors. To do you have a garage? Have you got a place to charge it? You
Right.
know, do you
Yeah.
have to visit grandma, in Chicago, and drive all the way across to Iowa? And half of Illinois to go see grandma. That's an issue.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. Let's see. Ford Hyundai reported massive EV sales declines as buyers pulled ahead purchases before tax credit ended September 30th. Well, you know what? It's funny. We have this other article on the myth of EV carnage, why the EV transition
Yeah,
is
yeah.
accelerating.
There's a
And
story there.
yeah, so in September, the US set a new monthly high for all time EV sales with 168,000 new
Yep.
EVs were
Yep.
sold or registered, pushing the EV share to 12.4% of all new car registrations. By October, cumulative sales had reached 1.2 million for the year, with Tesla, Hyundai, and GM the top sellers. Globally, year to date through October, 16.5 million EVs have been sold worldwide for 10 months, an increase of about 23% compared with 2024.
Yeah.
That's still big numbers.
That is
Um,
serious numbers.
Europe posted particularly strong growth, up 30% year over year. China sold about 1.3 million EVs in October alone. I mean, that's staggering how
It's
many
staggering.
EVs sell.
And when I started EV World, there were probably between all of the manufacturers, maybe 5,000, electric vehicles. And we're what now globally in 1 year, in 10 months, we're at, what was the number?
Let's see.
Well,
16.5 million.
16.5 million.
Yeah. It's staggering what a change that
It
is.
is. What a change. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I will share with you. So the article that you're referencing, there is a image of a gentleman standing in the middle of a junkyard, right? An auto scrap yard surrounded by, right, and the sun coming up. So what I wanted to do, that is a AI generated image of the author of the Carnage article. Okay. And so yeah, right there. So what I did is I asked AI, well, just generate this image for me of this guy, and I named the guy. And it came. They've been apparently tweaking all their algorithms and things. It says we cannot generate an image of a living person,
what?
and it would not generate that. So what I did was I just simply pasted the image into the the browser for the AI, and I said just generate this image of a junkyard and the sun coming up and a guy standing there in a trench coat. The guy in the original photo, the guy's smiling, and I said, have him scowling, right? And the sun coming up over his shoulder. And that's what it turned out. So as long as I don't identify who I wanted to make a CGI, make a image of, it'll do it. But if I try to name the person, that's just changed because last week I could put a photo and say, dude, make it, generate an image of this guy, and it'll do it, but it won't do it now. So it's interesting.
Well, Bill, I have sometime in the next week. I'll probably have my first book going live on Amazon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's a completely AI generated book. And here it is. It's called The Ceiling Squad, and it's based on a true story. So at my tennis center, we have this problem with raccoons in the ceiling.
Okay.
And I have this narrative that I think they're having a turf war with possums. And the other day I was playing tennis and I heard a duck quacking in there. And I didn't know what it was.
This is a children's book?
It's a children's book.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah, but if you look here at the picture, you may not be able to see it, but there's Jerry the raccoon, Penny the possum, Quackers the duck, all up above, and you can see there's people playing tennis down below in the building. There's holes in the ceiling, and this is based on a
true story.
It turns out that the duck, it was somebody's ringtone. I finally found out a couple days later. It's like we were in here playing doubles. I heard a duck.
I heard a duck quacking.
I don't know what animal that was, but it definitely sounded like a duck. And one of the guys goes, "That's my ringtone."
That's your ringtone.
Like, okay, so Quackers the duck is actually a ringtone.
Okay,
yeah, but they set traps for the raccoons. They get caught, and then they get moved 2 blocks away and re-released.
And of course, they come right back.
They come back, right? So we have this, and so Nano Banana Pro generated these images. So chapter 1 is the Great Tennis Ball Heist. Then we have second chapter is Teamwork Makes the Dream Work. The 3 of them are working together to try to steal tennis balls. And then, the third, they're having a little
then they live happily and have a tea party.
They got some berries, and they've got some wheat thins or some graham crackers, and a nice little table adorned with tennis balls above the courts.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So anyways, I actually created that in about 5 minutes.
Oh,
I actually gave a short prompt, and the AI that I use went and used credits for Nano Banana Pro, and wrote the story and created these great images. But I basically told it that I've got, about an indoor tennis center with these 3 animals that are living together in the ceiling, and so it created me this nice little children's book. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
anyways,
I heard, by the way, now that it's estimated that 50% of the content on the internet is now being generated by AI.
well, it makes sense to a certain degree,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because I couldn't tell you how much I do where, um, like, I have to haggle a contract with somebody this afternoon, and this company's contract was 52 pages. And so I fed it all into AI, gave it a prompt, acting like
Right.
a 30-year experienced corporate attorney, and go through this and tell me what you find as problems. Because
Right.
you have to
Right.
tell AI who to impersonate. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Who you
Sure.
have, so you don't just say, tell me what you think I should change in
Right.
this. You have to
Right.
say, acting as so and so,
Right.
how would you do this? If I were Elon Musk, how would I handle this situation with EV sales,
Right.
or something like that? So
Something like,
you
sure.
give it a persona of how it would think that
Right.
person would handle this, and it'll go out and try to give you from that perspective. And it's really fascinating the things it'll pick out that I missed reading the damn contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's challenging. Now they make special programs like that now for lawyers that are really specialized.
Yeah.
For
But
doing
somebody had a problem recently with that,
oh yeah,
right?
no, somebody got disbarred. Somebody
Yeah.
got disbarred because their AI made up um,
A law
made
case or
up
something.
law cases. It made up
Yeah.
law cases
Yeah.
that weren't real to use as examples as to why their argument was good.
Right.
And yeah, he
Yeah,
got
well,
disbarred for
again,
not.
folks, if you don't trust it, you better know your own, pardon the language, shit. If you're going to rely on AI for certain things, particularly special, specialized things like law and so on,
Yeah,
because it will, like I had this morning, it refused to do those images, which is a policy thing. I can understand that, but why it decided to do a summary of a completely different company than
mhm.
the article that was just it got confused. It's, oh, you're talking about flying cars, and it suddenly went off on a tangent, looking up information about other companies doing flying cars. So
Yeah. Well, for my second book on the adventures of these three animals, I'm probably going to have um, Quackers the duck be a Canadian duck, and Ice come and deport him. So that Ice is going to raid the tennis center and deport, and then the other two will try to
save
free
him.
Quackers, yeah,
Yeah.
from Ice deporting them,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
something like that. Yeah, I might have to introduce another animal as a lawyer or something for Quackers. Yeah, I just haven't quite figured out, how far I want to push that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well,
but it's supposed to be a children's book, right? So,
right.
anyways,
Don't get it too depressing. So
yeah, yeah. Anyways, um, yeah, yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah. We've really digressed here a little bit, but
oh yeah,
it is
well, that's
interesting
not
because,
unusual. There's so many
yeah,
fun things to talk about anymore.
right. But so in this supposed carnage against EVs, Tesla's U.S. share has dropped from 80% in 2019 to 38% in 2025. It's not a sign of evaporating demand. It's a sign of exploding competition.
Competition. Yep.
Hyundai, Kia, BYD. Well, BYD is not
Not
carving
here.
out in
Yeah.
the U.S., but they're,
Primarily Hyundai.
yeah, Hyundai, Kia, Ford, GM. I mean, look at all the cars GM has now.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, GM has a wide range of EVs. I mean,
In fact, if you go there's the article, the one, the editor's pick article with the graph image on it, that I lifted from the original story. Take a look at the growth of General Motors sales this year. It just nearly blows out the top of the graph.
of EVs.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, if you go to the reader's pick, and then down about the third story, maybe there's that graph, and then
here,
if
let
you
me see.
click on the either the link to the original story or to the synopsis.
Under reader's pick. I see editor's pick. I don't see
Well, editor's
record
pick.
EVs. Are you talking about the record EV sales show American
Yep.
demand?
Yep.
Okay.
There should be an image of a sales chart.
Yeah. Let's see here. And that's okay. It doesn't specifically say GM, but let's see
Oh,
what
I
we
thought
got
it
here.
did, or maybe I got the. Well, if you go over to the original, maybe I pulled the wrong one there. But if you go over to the original article, the source, it'll show you General Motors.
Yeah, here's various years 2019, 2020, 2018 went down. Well, it went 2018 was above 2019 and 2020. 21 big jump, 22 big jump, 23, 24, 25. EV sales new records every month. Almost new records every month in 2025.
Yep.
Now, of course, they're flatlining or going down.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Last,
Let's revisit this in 3 months and see where that is.
oh, here we go. Here's the
There it is. There's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
All automakers. So GM is almost to 70,000. It's up there like about 67,000 EVs. Tesla's left out of this, but quarterly EV sales excluding Tesla. Yeah, I always love the ones that exclude Tesla because Tesla'd be way the hell up here.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
You know, it would make them all look.
But it's the progress that I'm seeing. You know, they're just going ballistic.
Man, look at that Stellantis in there above Ford. How did Stellantis jump above Ford?
Because they're introducing the Jeep Wagoneer S. I've seen several of those now.
Yeah,
now
I know
they've
that.
Introduced the Recon, which is an all-electric version of the Wrangler. So they're starting to get into the business.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not the all-electric Challenger.
But, no. That's not been a real success.
No, but that's a pretty big deal. Honda, BMW down here, Toyota way the hell near the bottom.
Yep. Well, what do they have? I mean, they still keep sticking with the Prius. And I guess somebody's got to do it, and they've done a damn good job with that car. So I mean, if you got a winning strategy, stay with it until the rest of the world catches up with the rest of the world.
All right. So this is GM annual EV sales just for GM, 12 models. 9. They had dropped to 3 at one point. They had 5 in 2017. You look at this 2010, 1 model, 3 model, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4. But now they jumped to 9 and 23, 12 and 24. They got even more now.
Yep.
Hyundai down here with 15 EV models.
I know, it's amazing. It is just amazing with how many they've got.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, those are big numbers. Those are really big numbers. Anyways, let me see, Bill. We've rambled on a lot today.
Okay, folks. And that's fine. I'm good. I want to go start making some more meat. I've got all I need except the spring water. I got to go buy some spring water, and I'll start another gallon.
Nice. All right, folks. Thanks so much for watching. We always appreciate people chatting with us.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
I think I'm back tomorrow with Mike. I'm not 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not 100% at this point. But
well, if you're off on Friday, expect to see us. We'll be here.
Yeah.
But he's the producer. He'll make the decision.
Yeah. Bill,
I'm just the sidekick.
All right, guys. Everybody have a great day. All right.